Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to SoulSpace podcast number 97.
Welcome.
Couple more and we'll be at 100.
I know. It's so exciting.
It's crazy.
We've had a lot of fun in the last 96 podcasts.
Yes, we have. We have. So we're going to stay with our theme about renewing this week, and we're going to talk about renewing your body.
And
Yeah.
you know how we like to talk about paying attention to your body because it's always
Right.
trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
So what perfect subject for us to talk about this week.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And, there's been a lot of colds and flus and all that kind of stuff going around lately too. So we'll touch a little bit on the immune system, a little bit on kind of mental wellness, just feeling good.
About
Paying attention to your
paying
body.
attention.
Yeah.
Paying attention to your body is everything that's going on in your body's trying to tell you something. And
Right.
we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
If you watch any of our podcasts, or if you haven't, now you know.
Yeah.
We
What a
talk about how it's so important to listen to your body because your
Yeah.
body, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, is always trying to tell you something
Mhm.
with aches and pains, with illnesses, with different things. It's trying to tell you, I need this. I need you to pay attention to this. This is going on.
Mhm.
You need to work on this. And so it's good to know, what your body's signals are trying to tell you. And the more you pay
Right.
attention to that, the more you'll see patterns. And that's something that could be really important to becoming the healthy you that you want, because I know that's all of our goal is to be
Yeah, you want to
healthy.
feel good, and our bodies want to feel good, and our bodies are made to feel good, actually, if we listen and do what it's telling us to do, right?
Right. But sometimes we don't always know what to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
And that's where paying
that's true.
attention to
Mhm.
patterns is really important. And
Yeah.
that's why when you check in with yourself a lot during the day,
Mhm.
you'll begin to learn what those patterns mean, and what
Yeah.
that ache means, or what that craving means, or
Right.
what your body is trying to say, or do I need to rest? And paying more
Mhm.
attention to that and allowing yourself to do the things that are needed as well.
Yeah, 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 it's so important, and the solution is listen. Listen,
Listening.
imagine that.
You ever hear that before, that you need to learn to listen,
Right.
not only to other people, but also to your body?
Yeah, yeah. And when we get stressed out, overwhelmed, all of that, it's bound to take its toll on our bodies sooner or later.
Yes.
If we're not taking care of ourselves. And we talk about that a lot too, we have to fill up our cup, and we're busy taking care of others, especially moms and women, we're the caretakers of people. And you spend all your day doing that, and then you forget to take care of yourself. And that's when you get wore down and you don't, you get depleted. So this is going to be a lot about that too. Just learning to take care of yourself, and don't feeling like that is selfish.
Right. Because, like you said, filling your cup, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you
Right.
don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else either.
Yeah.
And we know that, especially from recent research, not just from our own inner knowing, but also from research, that stress brings down your immune system, just
It
like negative
does.
thoughts bring down your immune system.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so that's one of the things. If you are not taking care of yourself and you allow that stress to wear you down, your immune system goes down, which allows the viral load to come up and cause you to actually become ill.
Right.
Whether it's the viral load within your body that we all naturally have,
Mhm.
or viruses or bacteria from outside. When your immune system is vulnerable, that's when you get sick.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
And, we will always tout that. It's always important to take care. It's not selfish to take care of yourself, because you can't take care of anybody else if you're sick,
Yeah.
if you're not well, if you're
Yeah.
unhealthy, if your body is hurting because you haven't been listening to it for 50 years.
Right. Right. And that's a long time. It's time to start now.
As an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's true too, people that have always been a caregiver, don't really know how to take care of themselves a lot of times. They
Mhm.
don't even think about it or think to do it.
Until their body
So-
starts to have problems and they're like, oh my gosh,
Right.
what do I do about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't wait till you're sick to start taking care of yourself. That,
Right.
you know, it's so much easier to stay well and less expensive to stay well than it is to wait till you get sick to start paying attention, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You know, we're all at fault for doing that. You know,
Mhm.
all of us,
At
we
times,
sometimes we'll
yeah.
just run and run and run and forget that we also need to take care of ourselves. We've all been there, right?
Right.
But it's just about starting to do it better and intentionally paying attention and starting to do what better for yourself and for your body.
Yeah.
And when you give yourself permission to do that, you also show other people
Yeah.
that they have permission to take care of themselves too. And that can be a revelation, not just for yourself, but for your relationships, for other people, for uplifting them and saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm taking care of myself. I can take care of yourself too. And they're like, I can do that.
Right. And if you do that as a family, your husband, your kids, whatever, whoever is in your household, if you start doing things together that help take care of you and each other, it's just going to become a lifelong habit, and they're going to carry that on. Your kids will carry that on, or whoever, you know, and it just becomes natural. And you know, then there's gonna be a tipping point where we don't do that anymore. We don't deplete ourselves. Hopefully, that
Right.
will become a tipping point
Right.
where we learn how to do that. And you can give so much more if you fill yourself up.
Yes. If you have energy and you're healthy, you can give and you can be that caregiver
Yeah,
that you love to be. And you know,
Right.
I know a lot of us on here are people that love to take care of other people and love to help and be there and volunteer and do all sorts of really cool stuff
yeah,
to help other people. And so in order to do that, if you take care of yourself, you can do it for longer,
right.
if not your entire life.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I know people in their mid 80s that are just doing
yeah,
and they're amazing. They have so
Yeah.
much energy. I was like, yeah.
right.
Hashtag goals, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's so cool. And I know a friend of ours that just passed away actually, and she helped others her whole life and stayed young. I mean, she looked the same as she did at 86 as she did when she was 60. And it's like, wow, who, you know, people didn't think of her as her age because she was always active, always doing, always helping others, and you just never thought of her as her age.
Vibrant,
you know. Yeah, and she did that for years. So yeah, you have to keep yourself up so you can help others more.
It's all about, what do I need?
Yeah.
What do I need to be able to keep doing that?
Mhm.
What is it that my body's asking for? What is it that my emotions are asking for? And what are they trying to say? So, and what can I do to do it better for myself
Mhm.
and feel good every day?
Yeah,
Because we're all about that.
right.
We're all about finding the happiness.
Absolutely. That's where we want to live.
That's where
in
we
the
like
happy
to
place.
be all the time. I know
Yeah.
it's my favorite place.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about a few different things and talk about, and we're really talking about renewing the body. And
Yeah.
a big part, if not the biggest part, is our mental wellness and our mental patterns, because that's what really affects the body the most.
Yeah.
You know, and like we said, there's research that shows that in so many different ways, not just in our health, but in a ton of different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mental health needs to be at the forefront of your thoughts. And because when your mental health isn't there, that's when your body starts to go.
Yes,
It's your body catching up with your mental state.
it's
when you're
responding
not-
to
yeah,
your mental state.
Exactly.
Really,
Yeah.
truly.
Yeah. So we need to pay attention to that and catch those downward slopes before they get too low. You know, when we get stressed and overwhelmed, that's kind of like the first step. If you don't take care of that when you're in that phase, it starts to affect your body in bigger ways, and then you're getting more depressed, or you're getting your mental wellness is going tanking, you know. So that's when you really can get sick,
Mhm.
when you let yourself go that far. So we talk about the emotional guidance scale all the time, and we want to stay in that top level of that so that you can stay up there, your mindset stays good, and it's not all about just one of those things. It all works together. And when we know that, and that's why we are both holistic minded and holistic coaches, because it's everything working together that keeps your body, your mind, everything going and everything staying on a positive level. So it all works together. Don't think you can just do one thing and it's going to fix everything, because that doesn't work either.
Right. But taking the one step can
Yeah.
improve, so you can take the next and the next and the next.
And it gets you going so that you feel like doing more and more
Mhm.
things that feel good.
So if you can start somewhere,
Yeah.
great. You know what
Pick
the
a
best
thing.
place to start is? With your mental wellness.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
going to talk a little bit about mental thought patterns to begin
Okay.
here, because it's so important when we're talking about the body
Yeah.
and how the mind affects the body.
Mhm.
So I have this wonderful book by Louise Hay, because she's our fave. And this is the Essential Louise Hay collection. It has a bunch of her books in it. And I'm on page 195 in it. And I think this is an excerpt from Heal Your Body. Yep. So this is an excerpt from Heal Your Body. And it's entitled Mental Equivalence, the Mental Thought Patterns That Form Our Experience. And this is something we talk about a lot, but I really like the way that she puts it. It kind of puts it in like a new perspective. I love the way that she writes. Both the good in our lives and the dis-ease are the results of mental thought patterns that form our experiences. And when she says dis-ease, she says dis-ease instead of disease.
Right.
Because disease is owning it, that you have it. Dis-ease is just something that needs to be released from the body.
Yeah.
We all have many thought patterns that produce good, positive experiences, and these we enjoy. It's the negative thought patterns that produce uncomfortable, unrewarding experiences with which we're concerned. It's our desire to change our dis-ease in life into perfect health. We've learned that for every effect in our lives, there's a thought pattern that precedes and maintains it. Our consistent thinking patterns create our experiences. Therefore, by changing our thinking patterns, we can change our experiences. And this is something we talk about extensively.
Mhm.
And that's why we have some of the tools that we have.
Yeah.
What a joy it is when I first discovered the words metaphysical causations. This describes the power in the words and thoughts that create our experiences. This new awareness brought me an understanding of the connection between thoughts and the different parts of the body and physical problems. I learned how I had unknowingly created dis-ease in myself, and this made a great difference in my life. Now I could stop blaming my life and other people for what was wrong in my life and my body. I could now take full responsibility for my own health. Without either reproaching myself or feeling guilty, I began to see how to avoid creating thought patterns of dis-ease in the future. For example, I couldn't understand why I repeatedly had problems with a stiff neck. Then I discovered that the neck represented being flexible on issues, being willing to see different sides of a question. I had been a very inflexible person, often refusing to listen to the other side of a question out of fear. But as I became more flexible in my thinking and able, with a loving understanding, to see other people's point of view, my neck ceased to bother me. Now, if my neck becomes a bit stiff, I look to see where my thinking is stiff and rigid.
That's good. A lot of people get stiff necks all the time too. When you think
Yeah.
about it, if you sleep wrong or you fall asleep in the recliner or on the couch or something, you wake up with a stiff neck. And what were you thinking about when you fell asleep? I always wonder, okay, what got me here,
Right. And it's like, even if before you went to bed, you can't remember what you're thinking about, was there anything during the day where you were stubborn or inflexible or unwilling to hear the other side of a story, or you were so angry about this one person just doing this one thing that bothers you all the time and blaming?
Right.
What was it that you were thinking about that
Yeah.
day? And how can you begin to release that thought pattern? Because everything that we have, that usually is a thought loop connected to it. And if
Mhm.
we can figure out what those thought loops are, we can just begin to release them.
Yeah,
And that's what we do with the freedom release method.
right. I was just gonna say, and that's where freedom release method comes in. Yeah, so
Yes.
good. It really is, most everything is related to a thought somewhere along the line that wasn't good for our mind.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what Louise Hay always talked about, is
Right.
that it starts as a thought first, which is energy. It's an
Yeah.
energetic projection that thought is having, and then it becomes an emotion, and that emotion sinks into the body as energy and creates issues within the body
Right.
if we don't attend to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talk about that a lot too, when, when you are in a negative situation, or even if you hear someone in a store, something, or across the street or whatever, arguing, or something that is in a negative way, it brings your body down. You can feel it in your body, that stress, just feeling heavier. And if you know to pay attention to that, you can catch it right away. And, no, that's not mine.
Yes.
Right now, I don't need to, I'm letting that get into my energetic field. So I need to stop that, I need to walk away, or I need to change that up, or think about something better.
Right. And moments like that are about the pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Pivoting.
Yeah.
Learning to pivot early so that it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Is a really big thing. And if you want to know more about pivoting, we have other podcasts about that. So please check it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like the emotional guidance skill ones. Those
Right.
ones would be really good for you to kind of loop back to.
Yeah. Yeah. And pivoting is huge, and noticing right away, hey, I'm taking on somebody else's stuff, just by hearing it, I can feel that in my body sometimes. And you need to learn how to shield that from yourself, or to change that within, before it affects you.
Yeah, and one of the things that you'll notice is, like, if somebody says something that catches you, and then you start thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
You're taking on that energy and that thought pattern of that person, basically, and
Right.
thinking about all the things with that, and then you create it your own, and it becomes a snowball effect. And that's where the pivoting comes in. When you start to have thoughts like that are off of where you want to be, that's where the pivot comes in. Like, you recognize that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can pivot out of it.
Yeah, right away. As soon as you get that inkling of, oh, that's not mine, or that's not where I want to be, or where I want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that we've been practicing for many, many years.
Yeah.
And keep getting better and better and better at. And
Yeah.
we want to teach you to do that too.
And we're never done learning,
Mhm.
everybody, it's an ongoing thing throughout your life. You're never gonna be perfect,
But it's a practice.
yeah,
And
it
you
is
can
a
get really
practice.
good at it.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to be
absolutely.
good at it.
Yeah.
It makes life
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah, I mean, don't make it sound like a drudgery that you
It
never
isn't
done,
drudgery.
but
It makes
it's-
life more fun.
Yeah,
Because
it
you
really
don't
does.
have such low lows. You can pull yourself out of it before you get to that low low.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets harder for people to get out, is when they get so far down.
Mhm.
And that's what takes the work.
Yeah.
So if you allow yourself to pivot before it gets there, life is a lot lighter and easier, and you have
Right.
molehills instead of mountains.
Yeah.
And that's where it really comes in handy to be able to build these skills, because it gets easier and easier and easier, and it
Mhm.
becomes second nature to do.
Yeah, and that's why you need to recognize right away when it starts to happen. If you notice next time you're starting to get a cold, or you're feeling sick, look back and see, okay, what was going on a week ago? Maybe you somehow got in a mindset where things weren't going so great, or you felt kind of off or whatever, and you didn't catch it then. That's probably why you got sick.
Right.
And we do that all the time, and not all the time, but we try not to do that. But if you don't know these methods or these tools, people tend to do that, and you are in that negative mindset, for weeks on end, and then pretty soon you're sick and you're going, wow, how did I catch that? Whatever. But
Or you're stressed and you run down and you didn't allow
Yeah.
yourself the time to rest that you needed. I'm guilty of that too if I have a lot going on.
for sure,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah. That did just happen to you when
It
you
did.
when you had so many things going on. Not that your mindset wasn't right, but
No, I was
you
I
were
was
just
great. And then I had done 3 huge things in a row and go and clients, everything. And then, I started to get tired. I did
Yeah.
not take a day off. I did not
Yeah.
rest. And then
Boom.
bam, hit me like a ton of bricks.
boom, you were home.
I did take a rest day after I really started to get sick. Like I was like, okay, guys, I need a day because I know I'm gonna get worse. So like, yes, get out of here,
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah,
And I did. I took a rest day, and I know that helped a ton
right.
because I still was sick, kind of the rest of the week, but I got better so much faster because I recognized I was run down, I was tired, I needed to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I did that, I know that it would have been much worse because I had the same thing a lot of people had that were sick for weeks.
Yeah.
And I was done with it within a week.
Yeah. My husband got the same thing, and he
Yeah.
was sick really for about 3 weeks.
Right.
And it was, he didn't feel good at all, and tried to do things to help it get better, and pretty soon he did, but
I
he
took my
just-
rest day. I did my mental things that really worked for me. I did affirmations. I did my meditations.
Mhm.
I did my physical stuff, like my hydrotherapy that I love to do. I did oils.
Awesome.
I did juicing. I did,
Yeah.
my vitamins that I always take every day. I just took extra care of myself, realizing that it's like, well, I had allowed myself to become a rundown, but at
Right.
the same time, I was really excited about the work that I was doing. And when I get excited, sometimes I overdo.
Right.
And so I know that about myself.
Yeah, or you forget to do what is really helping you, like take your supplements and doing all the things that you normally do,
Right.
but you maybe didn't have time to do.
Because of the go,
Or you skip that because you were too busy. You don't even think about it
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. It's, if you stay on top of it, it's easy to fly right through. But if you let yourself get too busy without paying attention,
Mhm.
and you think, oh, I missed a day. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm too busy to get sick. That's when you usually get sick.
It's also about paying attention. And I did
Yeah.
pay attention when that began to happen. I
Right.
took,
Yeah,
I
you
did the
did.
rest that I could, which
Yeah.
did help. But
Yeah.
it happens to all of us.
Yeah, it
I don't do
does.
perfect either, but I do know what to do when I recognize what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. Just to start to recognize, then you can help before it gets worse. You can get yourself out of it before it takes 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever, so yeah, it's all good. All good, all a learning process, and we can do it.
Yes. And so there's a second piece in here that I really liked. It's called replacing old patterns, because we're all about replacing old patterns.
Yeah.
So
new patterns are good.
yes. So in order to permanently eliminate a condition, we must first work to dissolve the mental cause. But most often, since we don't know what the cause is, we find it difficult to know where to begin. So if you're saying, if I only knew what's causing this pain, I hope that this booklet will provide both a clue to find the causes and a helpful guide for building new thought patterns that will produce health in mind and body. So in this book, there is a chart that has different ailments, different parts of the body, and all sorts of different things in there that tell you affirmations to do if you're having those problems.
Yeah.
And this book is wonderful, especially if you combine this book with Freedom Release Method.
Yes.
Unbelievable. I do this in my own life.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yes, please.
It's good.
We love
Yeah.
Louise Hay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Pioneer, honestly.
Yeah.
I've learned that for every condition in our lives, there's a need for it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. The symptom is only an outer effect. We must go within to dissolve the mental cause. That is why willpower and discipline don't work. They're only battling the outer effect. It's like cutting down the weed instead of getting the root out. So, before you begin the new thought pattern affirmations, work on the willingness to release the need for cigarettes, the headache, the excess weight, or whatever. When the need is gone, the outer effect must die. No plant can live if the root is cut away.
Right.
I think this part is huge because she's talking about how everything is there for a reason, right?
Mhm.
There's a need there
Yeah.
that causes the pain or the ailment or the
Mhm.
addiction or whatever it is. And so allowing yourself to begin to let go of the need for that, she's talking about
Right.
as step one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's our job to recognize when that becomes a problem or when we're in that situation so that we can learn from that and get better, right?
Mhm.
To better yourself because of what happened or whatever you're dealing with was. So, and that's really the only way we can learn. We can't let somebody else do that for us because it's not going to work. But when we recognize it ourselves, we can move away from that or move into something better.
Right. And you know what I love about the freedom release method and what it does
Mhm.
is it releases the resistance
Yeah,
to the thought pattern that we want.
to the good.
And releasing that resistance is part of that, is releasing the need for the thing that's causing the issue.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that's why I love it, is it's so effective on like 3 or 4 levels
Yeah.
within the subconscious mind to begin to change those thought patterns so that you don't have so much work to
Right.
do. And it's not as hard for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish with your
Mhm.
health or your wealth or your success or whatever, because you're releasing the blocks and
Mhm.
barriers to that by releasing all of the resistance to the things that you want.
Yeah.
And part of that is the need that created that issue within the body.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good to look at things on different levels like that and to be able to say, hey, I know I can hit all these birds with one stone or so to say, but you can remove those blocks and that whatever it is that are keeping you from that good feeling that you want to have. And sometimes we don't think that we're worthy of that or we're able to have that good feeling when all we need to do is release the resistance to it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It is. It sounds super simple, and it is really simple. And that's what makes it amazing. And people don't often believe me until they do the freedom release method
Right.
with me and we
Yeah.
do it together. And those
Yeah.
of you that have been on our podcast, you've tried it, you know that it makes a difference. You
Yeah.
can feel the difference immediately.
Yeah.
And then you begin to see the difference in your thought patterns as you do it more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
It is. Okay. There's not too much in this piece,
Okay.
but I love the way she puts it.
Yeah, she's such a good writer.
I love it. The mental thought patterns that cause the most dis-ease in the body are criticism, anger, resentment, and guilt. For instance, criticism indulged in long enough will often lead to diseases such as arthritis. Anger turns into things that boil, burn, and infect the body. Resentment, long held, festers and eats away at the self and ultimately can lead to tumors and cancer. Guilt always seeks punishment and leads to pain. It's so much easier to release these negative thinking patterns from our minds when we're healthy than to try to dig them out when we're in a state of panic and under the threat of a surgeon's knife. The following list of mental equivalents has been compiled from my many years of study, my own work with clients, and my lectures and workshops. It's helpful as a quick reference guide to the probable mental patterns behind the dis-ease in your body. I offer these with love and a desire to share this simple method of helping to heal your body.
Mm.
And so what she's really talking about is getting out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Using this stuff before it becomes a major issue that
Mhm.
requires surgery and huge medical intervention.
Right.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of us have been there.
Yeah.
And I was able to completely turn around my health in so many different
Mhm.
ways, and I continue to all of the time. And I've
Right.
never had a recurrence of the
Yeah.
things that I had. And so this is really huge when it comes to like hearing. My body is trying to tell me something.
Mm-hmm.
And the guide that she gives in here is wonderful because it can say, okay, I don't know what my body's trying to tell me. Well, this is a wonderful guide that can give you an idea.
Yeah.
This is what my body's trying to tell me.
So
See if it resonates with you. And you go, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love this book. So if you don't have You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay,
Yeah.
or
to
You
have
Can
it.
Heal Your Body, that one is amazing also because that has the exhaustive list. You
Yeah.
Can Heal Your Body. I have so many books.
Yeah.
So great. And You Can Heal Your Life is one of my favorite. And the one that I have is the collector's edition that has the whole list in the back as well.
Yeah.
With the chart and everything. So that can be amazing, especially if you combine it with our freedom release method with the releases for your body. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you guys.
Yeah, you
Change
can
abounds.
do so many different things just with that chart of ailments or whatever you call them. You know, you can do tapping, you can do freedom release, you can do all kinds of
You can just
things,
do straight up affirmations.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you are looking to go that route and to live your best life, that is one book that needs to be in your library and not just sitting in your library.
Not
You
just
need to
sitting
use
there,
it.
using
I
it.
have it right
Bookmarks.
by my desk at home and I use it all the time, you know.
It's one on my bookshelf that I can just
Yeah,
pull right out.
yeah. Along with this one that I'm gonna read a little bit out of, and this is
Oh,
called The
yes.
Secret Language of Your Body. And she has kind of things in this book. It's by Inna Segal. And it's on the same lines as what Louise Hay does. But it has a little remedy. So it's like a meditation or some, you know, different things that you can do.
Mhm.
So I picked a thing about the immune system since we've had so much flu and stuff going around and colds.
Yeah.
So we'll do this little piece and then we're gonna do a cool meditation at the end. So, yeah, it's fun. Okay, so the immune system. Possible contributing factors when you start to get ill or you start feeling a cold coming on, you can look at things, you know, if you think, okay, what could be causing this? It could be insecurity, inner conflict, self-neglect. We talked about that and all the time.
Yes.
Stress, which, you know, who doesn't have stress in their life right now?
If you don't have stress in your life, I kind of want to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
you're probably not alive.
Well, you know, I know them too, so it's
Right. Feeling pressured, threatened, manipulated, and with your guard down, allowing people to take advantage of you, too focused on the outside world rather than the inside, and we talk about that a lot.
Yes.
Pushing instead of allowing. That's another thing that's
Yeah, that's a big
hard.
one.
Yeah. Feeling like your integrity is being compromised, not knowing how to say no, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
Feeling neglected and unloved, thinking, what is the point of this? Feeling like you're struggling and not getting what you want and overloading yourself. So those are all things that most people do on a daily basis.
Bring your
Right?
immune system down.
Yeah, and they
That's
really,
huge.
really, it will really take its toll on you.
Mhm.
So you have to start paying attention to that and what your body is feeling like so that you can get out of those feelings and those mental mindsets right away.
Yeah.
So you can feel better. So here is a little remedy, she calls them, to kind of get yourself in a better feeling place.
Love it.
So I'll read and you can follow along and do along.
Yes, let's follow along.
Okay. So first close your eyes and then become aware of all the problems you are carrying on your back, in your chest and in your body. As you take a breath in, recognize a problem. Just pick one to think about. And as you breathe out, give yourself permission to let go of the tension that you carry related to this problem. So that can be stress in your body. So if your neck is feeling tight or your shoulders, a lot of people carry that tension in their shoulders. Just let them relax and feel looser. Ask for a divine solution. And you can do this several times until you feel freer. And then just say to yourself or in your mind, divine healing intelligence, I ask you to release all stress, insecurity, conflict, manipulation, resistance, frustration, and self-neglect from my immune system, as well as all points of view, all patterns, and the positive and negative charges that contribute to this condition. Repeat the word clear until you feel a shift occur. And that's really cool. If you do that in your mind, just think clear, clear, while you're thinking about where that stress is or that tension is. You'll feel it lift out. And then when you feel that shift, just shake your body of all its stress, suppression, and tension. Just move around a little bit. Do the little micro dance. And do this vigorously for 30 seconds and then rest for 15 seconds. Breathe slowly and deeply. And then you can repeat it 3 or 4 times until you're really feeling good and out of that situation or that stress, that tension.
I feel a little lighter already,
Yeah,
honestly, because I followed along with that.
yeah, it's so good.
I don't have this book,
Don't you?
so
It's a good
need
one.
to get it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I do love Inna Segal,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, I have her card deck too, and that's what we do the intuitive painting too,
Yes,
with the
I
cards and
love that
colors.
card deck. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So to improve your immune system, you place your ring finger and little finger on the tip of your thumb. Ring finger and what? Ring finger and little finger on the tip of your thumb.
It's actually kind of hard for me to do. I'm not as coordinated with those fingers as the rest of my fingers.
On my right
I'll do it on the table. There we go. I got
it. Extending the 2 remaining fingers away from your thumb.
Got it.
And then hold this position between 5 and 15 minutes. So kind of just meditating like that. That must be a mudra.
Yeah.
If your immune system is really down, you may like to practice this process 3 times a day and say, divine healing intelligence, please heal and regenerate my immune system to its maximum health, vibrancy, and well-being. That's cool. Awesome.
It's much easier with my right hand than my left. These fingers on my left hand side have always not been coordinated.
I'm like that. I'm pretty ambidextrous, but try painting with your left hand. That helps.
Right. When I used to play the oboe, like I would play, but this pinky would always lock up on me. So I'd kind of struggle every once in a while.
That's good. But there are a lot of mudras or mudras, people call them, that placing your fingers in certain positions really make a difference on your energy field and how your energy is flowing throughout your body. So that's really cool that that she has those in there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Awesome. So yeah, this is a really good book to look up. Like you can look up jaw pain or hip pain or earache or any of those things, just like in Louise Hay's thing. So really a good book to have in your arsenal too.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's such a good book. And then her book, Your Life Through Color, is one of my favorites also.
I haven't read that one, but I have the cards.
Yeah.
she's got another one too, The Secret Life of Wellness. I haven't read that one yet either.
That sounds like a winner.
Yeah.
I mean, book club.
Probably is. Yeah. Good. Hashtag book club.
Hashtag book club. We haven't
Yeah.
we haven't done one since we did the magic the last time, a few
No,
months ago. That was amazing.
yeah,
That
that
was
was
amazing.
really good.
We'll have
Yeah.
to do that again.
We'll have
You
to
guys would
do
love that.
Yeah, we'll have
We
to
did it
do
together.
another book club this winter.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you guys ready for our short little meditation? It's kind of like Louise Hay has these little things that are just written at the end of her
I
chapters,
love them.
which I love, love, love. And so it's just one of these things where you can just close your eyes and listen and maybe repeat it in your head. It's kind of like doing a good long affirmation.
Yeah.
So it's going to be wonderful. So
Yeah,
why don't you
they're
just
awesome.
take a moment and either close your eyes or soften your gaze and just take a deep breath in and out. Breathe in. And just breathe out all your stress. One more time, breathe in. And out. Just let it go. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more I love, the more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself. Therefore, I provide a comfortable home for myself, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with the vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself. Therefore, I work at a job that I truly enjoy doing, one that uses my creative talents and abilities, working with and for people whom I love and who love me, and earning a good income. I love myself. Therefore, I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people into my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself. Therefore, I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I love myself. Therefore, I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good and knowing that my future is bright, joyous, and secure. I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me now and forevermore. And so it is.
That was awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what better thing to say to yourself than
Right.
I love myself?
Yeah.
I love you. I love myself.
Mhm.
Such a beautiful thing to say to yourself, and it's such a wonderful thing to get used to saying.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good for you
Yeah.
to say stuff like that to yourself.
Yeah.
So good for your health, for your mental wellness,
Mhm.
for everything. Truly.
Mhm. And to do it in the mirror is even better.
I know. Mirror work.
Yeah. Yeah. Treat
So good.
yourself as your BFF,
Yes.
and you'll get better and better each day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Treat yourself like you would want to treat other people.
Right.
Be
Yeah.
your own bestie.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be mean to best friend, so why do you do that to yourself?
And if you are mean to your best friend, you want to think about why you do that.
Right.
Start doing some work on that first,
Yeah,
and then come back.
yeah. Trying to
Just
take care of it. You have a couple other things going on
Food for
besides
thought.
Yeah.
food for thought.
Right. Yeah. So Carissa, where can we find you in this wonderful world of interwebs?
On the wonderful world of the interwebs. You can find me at Light of Hope Healing on Facebook. You can find us collectively on Facebook at our SoulSpace.
Yeah.
You can find us on YouTube, which is where we're putting these wonderful, lovely videos first.
Yeah.
At SoulSpace Podcast. Nothing more, nothing less. And you can find me on my Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site. Light of Hope Healing, bunch of dashes, .square.site. That's the worst.
One of these days.
One day it'll be lightofhopehealing.com. Still working on her. Tracy, where can we find you very easily and conveniently on the interwebs?
I can't talk. Inspiredsignals.com. Easy.
Yes.
And all my other links are there.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
that's all.
Yeah, that's so easy.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just do that?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah. Mhm.
It is. But I am on Facebook and Instagram too, at Inspired Signals and at Inspired Signals Studio, which I'm thinking about changing the name of that one. But
Okay, well, right now it's Inspired Signal Studio. Check it out.
yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Still don't have my Etsy store up, but
Hey,
I'll get there.
we're all
kinda
work in
like your
progress. I
website.
don't even have a website, so.
Yeah. You know, I
Working on
don't
it.
want too many irons in the fire at the same time, so.
Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself, right?
Trying to take care.
Make sure you don't get overwhelmed, but you're
Yeah.
still doing the things that matter the most.
Yeah.
And you'll get there.
I will.
Keep trucking.
And so will you.
Yeah.
And so will you.
And so will you.
Right.
We'll do it together. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good plan.
I love it.
Yeah, so we hope this week is treating you well. Take care of your body this week.
Pay
And-
attention to it and what it's trying
Yeah.
to tell you.
Yeah.
Get the Louise Hay You Can Heal Your Life book if
Yeah.
you can.
And also
And The Secret Language of Your Body.
by Inna Segal. And we'll see you next week, same place.
We'll be talking more about renewal.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Excited.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.